Today, Canto XXVII of Dante's Purgatorio, in which an angel sends the poets forward through the fire to the last ascent, which leads to the terrestrial paradise situated on the summit of the mountain. They have not proceeded many steps on their way upward when the fall of night hinders them from going further, and our poet, who is lain down with Virgil and Statius to rest, beholds in a dream two females, figuring the active and contemplative life. With the return of morning, they reach the height, and here Virgil gives Dante full liberty to use his own pleasure and judgment in the choice of his way, till he shall meet with Beatrice. Now, on Kurt reads a poem, Canto number 27 of Dante's Purgatorio. As when he vibrates forth his earliest rays in regions where his maker shed his blood, the Erbo falling under lofty Libra, and waters in the Ganges burnt with noon, so stood the sun. Hence was the day departing, when the angel of God appeared to us. Outside the flame, he stood upon the verge and chanted forth Beate Mundo Cordi, in voice by far more living than our own. Then, no one further goes, souls sanctified, if first the fire bite not, within it enter, and be not deaf unto the song beyond. When we were close behind him thus, he said, wherefore even such became I when I heard him, as he who is put into the grave. Upon my clasped hands I straightened me, scanning the fire and vividly recalling the human bodies I had once seen burned. Towards me turned themselves my good conductors, and unto me Virgilius said, My son, here may indeed be torment, but not death. Remember thee, remember, and if I, O Geryon, have safely guided thee, what shall I do now I am nearer to God? Believe for certain, shouldst thou stand a full millennium in the bosom of this flame, it could not make thee bald a single hair. And if perchance thou think that I deceive thee, draw near to it, and put it to the proof with thine own hands upon thy garment's hem. Now lay aside all fear, turn hitherward and onward come securely. And I still motionless and 'gainst my conscience, seeing me stand still motionless and stubborn, somewhat disturbed, he said, Now look thou, son, twixt Beatrice and thee there is this wall. As at the name of Thisbe oped his eyes the dying Pyramus and gazed upon her, what time the mulberry became vermilion, even thus my obduracy being softened, I turned to my wise guide, hearing the name that in my memory evermore is welling. Whereat he wagged his head and said, How now? Shall we stay on this side? Then smiled, as one does at a child who's vanquished by an apple. Then into the fire in front of me he entered, beseeching Statius to come after me, who a long way before divided us. When I was in it, into molten glass I would have cast me to refresh myself, so without measure was the burning there. And my sweet father, to encourage me, discoursing still of Beatrice, went on, saying, Her eyes I seem to see already. A voice that on the other side was singing directed us, and we, attent alone on that, came forth where the ascent began. Veniti benedicti patris mei sounded within a splendor which was there, such it o'ercame me, and I could not look. The sun departs, it added, and night cometh. Tarry ye not, but onward urge your steps, so long as yet the west becomes not dark. Straight forward through the rock the path ascended in such a way that I cut off the rays before me of the sun that now was low. And of few stairs we yet had made essay, ere by the vanished shadow the sun's setting behind us we perceived, I and my sages. And ere in all its parts immeasurable the horizon of one aspect had become, and night her boundless dispensation held, each of us a stair had made for his bed, because the nature of the mount took from us the power of climbing more than the delight. Even as in ruminating, passive grow the goats, who have been swift and venturesome upon the mountain-tops ere they were fed, hushed in the shadow while the sun is hot, watched by the herdsman who upon his staff is leaning, and in leaning tendeth them, and, as the shepherd lodging out of doors passes the night beside his quiet flock, watching that no wild beast may scatter it, such at that hour were we, all three of us, I like the goat and like the herdsman they, begirt on this side and on that by rocks. Little could there be seen of things without, but through that little I beheld the stars more luminous and larger than their wont. Thus ruminating and beholding these, sleep seized upon me, sleep that oftentimes before a deed is done has tidings of it. It was the hour, I think, when from the east first on the mountain Cytherea beamed, who with the fire of love seems always burning. Youthful and beautiful in dreams, methought I saw a lady walking in a meadow, gathering flowers and singing as she was saying, "Know whosoever may my name demand that I am Leah, and go moving round my beauteous hands to make myself a garland. To please me at the mirror here I deck me, but never doth my sister Rachel leave her looking-glass, and sitteth all day long. To see her beauteous eyes as eager as she as I am to adorn me with my hands, her seeing and me doing satisfies. And now before the antelucan splendors that unto pilgrims the more grateful rise, as home returning less remote they lodge, the darkness fled away on every side, and slumber with it, whereupon I rose, seeing already the great masters risen. That apple sweet, which through so many branches the care of mortals goeth in pursuit of, today shall put in peace thy hungerings, speaking to me, Virgilius, of such words as these made use, and never were there gifts that could in pleasantness compare with these. Such longing upon longing came after me to be above, that at each step thereafter for flight I felt in me the pinions growing. When underneath us was the stairway all run o'er, and we were on the highest step, Virgilius fastened upon me his eyes, and said, "The temporal fire and the eternal sun thou hast seen, and to a place art come, where of myself no farther I discern. By intellect and art I have here brought thee. Take thine own pleasure for thy guide henceforth, beyond the steep ways and the narrow art thou. Behold the sun that shines upon thy forehead. Behold the grass, the florets, and the shrubs which of itself alone this land produces. Until rejoicing come the beauteous eyes which weeping caused me to come unto thee, thou canst sit down, and thou canst walk among them. Expect no more word or sign from me. Free and upright and sound is thy free will, and error were it not to do its bidding. Thee or thyself I therefore crown and mitre." Thus ends Canto XXVII of Dante's Purgatorio. Hey, thanks for watching, and have a great day.